Jed McKay's issues 16 and 17 in, of course, one video, and I'm going to rate them all as one story. So, first things first, do these covers in any way, shape, or form connect to something that happens inside of both of the stories? Sure enough, they do, or both issues, sure enough, they do. To which in this one, we have MoonKnight actually doing a bit of investigation, and I admit I do enjoy the investigation that happens inside the story. And in this one, it sort of continues off where the investigation left off. I'll now get things prepared of the one I'll be reviewing first, or covering first. Oh, and for the covers, for this cover, I gave a 7 out of 10 as to how well it works with the story. And as the story begins here, we actually have MoonKnight, or Mr. Knight, going into Chinatown. As the story progresses, he ends up meeting with a vampire group that happens to live in that part of Chinatown whilst he's doing his investigations. As this is happening behind the scenes, we have Hunter's Moon along with a couple of people he's going up against. We learn that there's a group called Destruct that are up against him and wanting to somewhat take him out. We return, of course, with MoonKnight and Reese, who is his vampire friend. And jump a little bit further towards the end. And as we start to look towards the end, something is happening with Hunter's Moon. Moving into the next issue, which continues our story, MoonKnight is now beginning to head out to find Hunter's Moon and also get revenge on the people who have also caused a little bit of harm to him. In the process, he encounters some enemies, the Namian, I think it is, until last but not least, we start to reach towards the conclusion. Hunter's Moon now working alongside again with MoonKnight, and it's really nice to actually see this be brought into the story. Because of that, it did help increase the racing. And I'll bring you the surprise ending of sorts, to which Mr. Knight, or MoonKnight, makes his entrance to take on the structure. So, for the internal art, for both of them, I gave them 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the story rating. First things first, did we get any comic references linking to any of the previous issues? No, we didn't. The next thing is the area of time. Well, the closest thing to the area of time actually appeared in issue 17, not 16, and it was addressed as the next night. The next being the locations to which it took place in Chinatown. We also had the structure's vampire conclave, to which, of course, MoonKnight entered and surprised the living daylights out of his villains in the issue. The cast of characters consisting of MoonKnight, Tigress, Hunter's Moon, Reese, the Tutor, the Namian, and Vlad Dracul. Overall story rating for this, I gave a 7.5 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful. Issues 19, and I'll be reviewing them together as one story. So first things first, do these covers in any way, shape or form connect to something that's happening inside with the stories? The first one sort of does, but the second one a little bit more. So for issue 19, so I'll quickly get things organized to show you what's actually happening in issue 18 before we move into issue 19. As we get for the first cover, I give a 7 out of 10, and for the second one, I give a 7.5 out of 10. I'll now move to showing the internal art for the first one before we move into the second, and as well as what's happening story-wise. And as the story begins, we have Tigress and MoonKnight as Mr. Knight, who has basically crashed one of the tutor's parties or the structure's parties. Jumping around the middle, you can see that he's got some things set in place, as he also wants a little bit of revenge sorts for what has happened to Hunter's Moon. He also takes care of these vampires by, well, consecrating some water to make it holy. And he takes out the group that is called the Structure. Jumping towards the end, we start to move towards the return of the character of Zodiac. So jumping into the next issue, and basically starting to continue off where we left off. We see Zodiac here in conversation with one of the people who is also connected to the Structure. As this now brings forth the next line of events, to which Hunter's Moon and MoonKnight are both working together on a case. The story continues, and we get a bit of a conversation between the two, as the other one seems to have plans for him, and we will eventually get to see some of those things that are set. Hunter's Moon, of course, finally gets a bit of a break of his own and a little bit of payback. And as the story continues towards the end, we find out that there are some other people behind the scenes, and we're not going to find out who they are until the next issue. I am somewhat interested to find out who they are. So for the internal art for both of these, I gave a 7.5 out of 10, as it's been pretty consistent. Moving into the next thing, the area of the story. Now, first things first, and that is, did it actually have any comic references to any of the previous issues? Sure enough, it does, to which we get a reference to MoonKnight issue 12, to which this arc, or part of this arc, started to begin. The next area is that of time, to which we got no indication of any time when it was taking place throughout the day. The last couple things are being location, to which we had many floors below, elsewhere, Miyadama, and one of the prisons, which showed up in both issues 18 and 19. The cast of characters consisting of MoonKnight, the tutor, we had Tigress, Reese made an appearance, Hunter's Moon. We also had Dr. Robert Pleska, who we see at the end of issue 18, but shows up again in issue 19, the character of Zodiac. And we also had Commodore Donnie, I think it's Plant. I might have Donnie Planet. For the overall story rating, I gave this an 8 out of 10. Until then, let's go and have yourself an awesome day.